Today's recipe is a study in pink and a lesson in how to rescue a botched buttercream. Today on Trial by Fire Baking, we're making a strawberry tall cake.
I love making colorful desserts, but I try to stay away from food coloring as much as possible. So recently, I discovered freeze-dried fruits. They come in a ton of different flavors, mostly berries. I've used blueberry, strawberry, what else have I used? Raspberry, and I've also used peach and mango. I'm a little bit obsessed. Anyway, today I found a recipe for a white velvet cake that lends itself perfectly to a little natural coloring. So let's give this a shot. This recipe is a little fussy, but I don't think it's too complicated. First of all, we're not using cups to measure our ingredients. This is another recipe that you need to get out the scale. We'll start with 14 ounces of cake flour, and I'm just gonna pop that into the bowl of my stand mixer. I've got the paddle attachment ready to go, and then I've got 13 ounces of just regular granulated sugar. Then I'm adding a tablespoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda and a half teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to leave these ingredients here in the stand mixer. And then I've got 10 ounces of buttermilk that I brought to room temperature. I'm going to set half of that aside with 4 ounces of vegetable oil. So we'll just set that aside. And then to half of the buttermilk, I'm going to add 5 egg whites. Not 5 egg whites, 5 ounces of egg whites. That came out to about 4 eggs for me. So we will add that and about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and whisk this together. Okay, so to the dry ingredients, I'm going to add 2 ounces of those freeze-dried strawberries. I just ground these in my coffee grinder. So we'll add the dry ingredients to the mix and just mix this to combine a little. And then I've got 1.5 sticks of softened butter that I will add to the dry ingredients, and then we'll just mix these two combined. Okay, I have mixed the dry ingredients and the butter, and now I'm just adding that buttermilk and vegetable oil mixture. And we will mix this on a medium-low speed for 2 minutes to get this thoroughly combined. And finally, I'm going to add that egg white and buttermilk mixture in 3 little intervals. We're going to do that on low speed. That is a good looking pink batter. So I'm going to divide this between 3 6-inch cake pans. You could also use 2 8-inch cake pans, but I like a tall skinny cake, so we're going to use the small ones. And we'll just bake these in a 350 oven for between 35 and 40 minutes. For the frosting, I've just made my favorite Swiss meringue buttercream. You can see the Victoria sandwich cake video for that recipe. And I've set half of it aside. And then for the other half, I'm going to take more of those freeze-dried strawberries, and I just put them in my coffee grinder here, and we will just grind those to a powder. And it really just takes a couple of seconds, and you'll end up with this. And I'm just going to dump this right into the mix and mix it up. The cake layers have cooled, and I've just sliced each layer in half. And now we're just going to do a base coat of frosting. Just slather some of this between each layer, and then we'll do a crumb coat on the outside. Once we have a base layer of frosting on the cake, we'll chill it for about a half hour. I'm covering the cake with these 2-toned roses. And to do that, I have filled 1 piping bag with the white buttercream and another with the pink buttercream, and just flattened both of those out. And then we'll feed both of those into a 3rd bag that I've fitted with a star tip, and
Then we will pipe the two-toned roses. Those roses were seriously hideous. So I just scrapped the whole thing, and I'm using a cake comb to scrape those roses off, and we'll chill this and try something else. So I ended up with kind of a monochromatic cake, and that's okay. And I'm running out of frosting, so this is really gonna just be like a little rose skirt on this cake. So the cake itself is not as pink as I had hoped it would be, but it's delicious, and that frosting actually turned out pretty great, even though it's just the one color. I think the big takeaway here is that frosting is forgiving. This has been another Trial by Fire. See you next time.